They say every day is for the thief, one day for the owner of the house. But ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission, has reversed the role. It is now every day for the owner of the house. If you're involved in bribery, over-invoicing, or any shady deal, the day of reckoning has come. ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission, is watching you. If you're reported for any corrupt practice, you'll be investigated, prosecuted, and punished. Corruption is harmful to our nation. Join the campaign against it by reporting any corrupt practice to ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission.
Let we join hands with ICPC, make them better.
Let's make Nigeria great again.
ICPC, they want to.
One hand for corruption.
Break the chain of corruption now. Don't give, don't take. This message is brought to you by ICPC, the Anti-Corruption Commission.
Corruption not in my country.
What do you want to buy?
Potato. Small basket. I want plantain. But why your plantain can't hard like this?
Madam, now the outside hard. Inside there, it is very soft.
Madam, wallahi make her no buy them. Make her show you something. What? What in be this one? Madam, this one now the chemical where they put on for the plantain make her ripe up.
So you dey put chemical for plantain where people go chop?
No water, no be chemical.
Water. You know say Pela I don't talk and say water and not be enemy. Drink am.
Where you collect that water, drink am.
I just stop finish. See my belly. I found it don't big. I just stop drink water finish.
Wait, can drink am now. I dey sell am plantain, I go come put am for chemical because I want to make a ripe go. That's why I talk now corruption. Corruption. Not be for this kaswa, come not be for this country. Now me take
Stop corruption now.
Corruption not in my country. The menace of corruption is indeed widespread. From the public office where it is famous, it has found its way even into the home. Family members are known to engage in it to the detriment of the overall moral well-being of the society. Even children no longer go on errands without expecting some kind of gratification in return. While ICPC has been employing various strategies to tackle this scourge, it needs the collaboration and support of all to make them work. Notably here is the mass media, which includes television, radio, newspaper, and internet means through which information is disseminated. The mass media has been found to be very effective in influencing people's minds and opinions. What are its practitioners doing in the campaign against corruption? Are they living up to expectations? This is the area of focus on this week's edition of Corruption Must Go. I am Ruth Awodi. We have a segment on anti-corruption stories, drama, ethics and values, and many more. Hawa Sani Garba will bring us up to speed on the latest happenings in the anti-corruption campaign.
Welcome to this segment of Corruption Must Go. I am Hawa Sani Garba. The Anti-Corruption and Transparency Unit, ACTU, of Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission, RMAFC, has been inaugurated by the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC. The unit was inaugurated by the acting chairman of ICPC, Honorable Abdullahi Bako, who was represented by Mr. Justin Kwatse of Corruption Monitoring and Evaluation Department. Honorable Bako, in his address during the inauguration, stated that ACTU was one of the initiatives designed by ICPC in collaboration with the Office of the Head of Civil Service of the Federation to help actualize the Commission's preventive mandate. According to him, ACTU is expected to act as a mini ICPC in the organization without the power to prosecute offenders in court. It is to serve as an institutional ethics and compliance unit in ministries, departments, and agencies. Honorable Bako also charged the newly inaugurated ACTU members to lead the fight against the scourge of corruption in their agency, to ensure that transparency and accountability in revenue allocation processes were not compromised, and also to showcase high ethical standards and integrity in the anti-corruption crusade.
I wish to also admonish members of staff to take the inauguration of this unit as a turning point in resolving to stay committed to ensuring that there is sustainable accountability and transparency in the workplace. To the ACTU members being inaugurated here today, I wish to encourage you all to live up to the responsibilities of your assignment, believing that it is a clarion call for you to showcase high ethical standards and integrity in the anti-corruption crusade of government.
The RMAFC acting chairman, Alhaji Shetima Umaru Abagana, in his welcome address, noted that ICPC had achieved a lot since it came into existence and expressed delight that the commission was inaugurating an ACTU for his organization to ensure transparency and accountability. He then pledged his support to the unit, saying it would be allowed to operate without interference.
We are happy and proud that today we are establishing this unit in the commission itself, and that we would always, at all times, cooperate with the ICPC, because the laws establishing us for different purposes, but the spirit of the law behind establishing both the ICPC and Revenue Commission is almost the same. So at this point, I will say you are welcome, and I'm proud and happy today to say that this unit will be inaugurated in this commission today.
In his acceptance speech, the new ACTU chairman, Alhaji Mustafa Muhammad, noted that the unit was not established to witch hunt anybody, but to promote fairness, transparency, and accountability in their organization.
It's not to witch hunt anybody, but to guide towards transacting business in the commission according to the rules. That's why we draw our membership from each department. The commission here is known for their record keeping, proper record keeping, but notwithstanding, all members, we put our eye to the transaction of the commission to see that everything has been transacted according to the rules and regulation.
Corruption, lack of integrity, and citizens' apathy towards anti-corruption efforts have been identified as critical threats to the collective well-being of Nigerians and Nigerians in general. This was the view expressed by the State Commissioner, Imo State Office of ICPC, Mr. Osim McNathaniel, in Onu-Imo Local Government Council during the anti-corruption sensitization tours of local government areas in the state. The sensitization tour was part of the Commission's initiatives aimed at encouraging greater community participation in the anti-corruption effort by the government, has amongst others the objective of reviving local norms that would discourage communities from celebrating wealth over honesty and integrity, while encouraging collective advocacy on issues of anti-corruption, budget process, and budget implementation. Mr. McNathaniel explained that it was in recognition of these factors that the Commission designed and deployed several anti-corruption programs, such as the National Anti-Corruption Coalition, National Anti-Corruption Volunteer Corps, Local Government Integrity Initiative, Anti-Corruption and Transparency Units, and Anti-Corruption Clubs in secondary schools, amongst others, to enlist the participation of the citizenry in the effort to eradicate corruption.
That the eradication of corruption is a collectively shared responsibility which requires the deliberate cultivation and transmission of corrupt-free values. Our hope is that this effort will help lay the foundation for the development of a counterculture that will institute a national reformation of thought, attitude, and character in Nigeria.
The State Commissioner therefore urged the local communities to join in the anti-graft war, saying that the eradication of corruption is a collective responsibility. Also speaking during the tour, Mrs. Azuka Ogugwa of Education Department called on the community leaders, especially the administrators of the local government council, to ensure the prudent management of their resources at all times for the benefit and the well-being of the people. Mrs. Ogugwa cautioned them not to engage in infractions of the rules and regulations guiding the operations of the local government administration, warning that anyone found compromising procedures would face appropriate sanctions. She also pointed out that the peer pressure, opportunity, and rationalization were factors why people engage in corrupt activities.
So much pressure can cause somebody to go into corruption. The second one, the very, very dangerous, and that is where management needs to sit up. The opportunity. Only one access to the money will not touch it. Only one opportunity. So we have to make sure there are rules and regulations guiding how our accountants and those that handle money, those that collect money, how they behave.
In her welcome address, the acting chairman of the local government council, Mrs. Umma Ogu-Chienti, lauded ICPC's effort at taking the anti-corruption campaign to the grassroots and encouraged the gathering to make the best of the opportunity granted them by the commission.
I will advise everybody here to please pay attention and listen very well. It is the what we are used to, but we are going to know more about this today, and we are happy. I'm happy that all of us are here today, both myself, because I know I'm going to learn more today. And having said that, please, we all should listen and be careful and get it right, because that is what the government want from us. And after this today, I know we'll go here or live here as a different person.
During the interactive session, participants expressed their readiness to back the Commission's anti-corruption campaign, disclosing that before the tour, they never knew ICPC had a lot of programs and initiatives aimed at enlisting and fostering citizen support in combating corruption.
I have to say thank you to people that organized this program. In fact, before now, I have been thinking on how ICPC will achieve their aim. Before they now come up with their National Anti-Corruption Volunteer Corps. That is to say, ICPC now have their representative. It has now been infiltrated into the grassroots. Thank you for that.
Among the factors that facilitate corruption, that when Mr. A has done it and come free, Mr. B has done it and the next person says, after this man did it and he has to go and do something like that. Okay, have something like that. Yes.
Corruption not in my country.
What you want to buy?
Potato. Small baskets. I want plantain. But why your plantain can't hard like this?
Madam, now the outside hard. Inside there, it is very soft.
Madam, wallahi make her no buy them. Make her show you something. What? What's in this one? Madam, this one now the chemical where they put on for the plantain make her ripe up.
So you dey put chemical for plantain where people go chop?
No water, no be chemical.
Water. You know say Pela I don't talk and say water and not be enemy. Drink am.
Where you collect that water, drink am.
I just stop finish. See my belly. After it don't big. I just stop drink water finish. I don't
drink. Wait, you drink am now. And they sell am plantain I go come put am for chemical because I want to make a ripe go. That's why I talk now corruption. Corruption. Not be for this kaswa, come not be for this country. Now me talk.
Stop corruption now.
Corruption not in my country.
Journalists and media organizations have an important role to play in the anti-graft war. Their role in discouraging corruption is very crucial for every given society. Through the Freedom of Information Law, media practitioners should have access to documents that expose graft in public organizations. When judgments are passed against corrupt persons, widespread publicity is required to let the world know that the perpetrators do not go scot-free. This should serve to discourage and frighten would-be corrupt persons. Fighting corruption successfully requires the concerted effort of all stakeholders. Today on the program, we feature the role of the media and its practitioners in the war against corruption.
The media has a duty, an important role to play, and it's not all about scheduled assignments or what officialdom decides is the way to go. The role of the media goes far beyond that. There are so many things happening in society. Every day you wake up, there are so many issues, so many things that the media can highlight in the fight against corruption, even from the smallest level. When we tend to take it to the level of what government does or puts out, then we lose the mark, because it all begins with the individuals, the citizens. And the media has a duty to highlight what is right, because if you say the media sets the agenda, it must now go beyond scheduled assignments. It must do programs. It must identify what's right. It must bring people back to the right path. And yes, it may seem like a social service, but it's not all about news all the time. It should be about what's behind the news, and so that people can draw, examples and references from such situations. There's a lot. Now, because of the social media, you find that so many things are muddled up now, and you do find that what thrives is rumor mongering. That is understandable, because everyone with a smartphone now can decide to concoct a story and push out, and within minutes millions would be about it. So, but the traditional media owes it a duty to thoroughly investigate. Most times I find media people have lost that need to do a thorough job. We take the easy way out. 10 people have circulated something on some social media platform, and bang, we take it up and we repeat those things because they sell. No, our role is to go right down, take up issues, ask questions. It's not enough when someone becomes a society figure. We should find out their backgrounds. We should do a thorough job, investigative reporting. We must do more of that.
The media is not really doing enough. The truth is that most of the anti-corruption cases, you find out that the media just rely on going to file in reports until when they are called to file in the report. That is when you find them there. And then you also find out the problem that the PR persons of these anti-corruption agencies, they also send out just press releases telling them the work they are doing in fighting the corruption. So there is this synergy that the anti-corruption agencies need to come together with the media so that they can fast-track the fight against corruption in the country.
The role of the media in disseminating information is relative to the result, that of empowering the people. And so the effectiveness of the media can only be assessed to the extent in which the people are empowered. And so for the media to evaluate its performance, a question needs to be asked. I am here to empower the people with information, and what kind of empowerment should I give or enhance in the people? When it comes to corruption, two things are key. And the two things is to make the people to engage the people effectively in the fight against corruption. How? By ensuring that the people insist on transparency and demand accountability.
The media is actually perhaps the only body, maybe apart from maybe the Code of Conduct Bureau, that is expressly mentioned in the Constitution of Nigeria to hold officials
accountable, to make government accountable. And what does that mean? It means that we have to join in the war against corruption. The media has to ensure that there is transparency in the way government officials operate, that there is value for money in the way we spend national resources. And so the media has been charged by the Constitution to take on the role of an anti-corruption crusader, and that's what we should be doing. When you look through the newspapers, almost on daily basis, newspapers like ours, and a few other newspapers like The Punch and Daily Trust and all of that, you see that there are attempts to report on corruption, to expose corrupt deeds. One very recent example was the board empaneled, constituted for the ICPC, which unfortunately the media had to expose the members of the proposed board, showing that they were actually being investigated for corruption by the ICPC. The media did that. And there have been a lot of media exposures in Nigeria, especially through the newspapers. If you read the newspapers every day, if ICPC and EFCC just work with the report from the newspapers every day, they will never be idle. They will always find work to do.
There is so much the media can do in the anti-corruption effort, from setting the agenda through reports and documentaries, creating consciousness among the public through frequent discussion and interview programs, jingles and anti-corruption adverts, and the media itself being a change agent. The media should not be seen to be aloof. Journalists have the obligation to chart a true national cause to an economically powerful as well as a socially and morally vibrant Nigeria. Thank you for watching this edition of the program. Keep a date with us same time next week. Bye for now.